Race number 5 of the Core League Season 2 comes back to the United States and returns to stock cars beginnings on the Paperclip as SmokeCarbon13 presents Core on MDK's coverage of the Fender 250 live from Martinsville Speedway in Ridgeway, Virginia. And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Period Show. My name is Jack Carlson. Joined with me, as always, as the 2019 Summer Showdown winner is Cody Workman. How you doing today, Cody?
Well, so far this season's flying by. We're 4 of 17 regular season races in the books, and we've hit about every type of track so far, and yeah, we've got a lot to talk about today.
Yeah, you're in a new place. The past 3 races, you're in a new place. Where are you now?
I am in the office. Well, not me office. I am in the Workman office. But yeah, my laptop is working now that I have a charger.
That's good.
So yeah. And I apologize in advance if you hear that little grandfather clock out there. That was from my race win in the Pocono Cup Series at Martinsville, of all places. So
I was about to say, how fitting.
Very fitting. Yes, yes.
Alrighty, well, last weekend Canadian Tire was an eventful one, to say the least. Let's take a look now at the point standings, but while it was controversial for some, it was domination for one driver. Fellow Canadian Drive-Thru goes back-to-back for the first time in the Core League. He holds on to the points lead and gains a 13-point lead ahead of second place Brian Pasternak. Jumps up to third place. 3 spots gain is the 82 car Joseph Lombard. Fourth is Brendan Littell. Fifth is Darren Gilliam. Michael Costi Jr., who did not participate last week, falls from second to from second to sixth. He will, I believe, return to racing this weekend. 7th is Jarrett Lundberg. 8th is Cody Hicken. 9th is Dale Reynolds. 10th is Ed Soundhead. 11th place is Rusty Walrus. 12th is Trey Normal. 13th is Michael Marutz. 14th is Joey Stone. 15th is Jonathan Ramos. 16th is Ryan Labonte. 17th is Jake Baskinger. And Ray Jacobs is an 18th. Now, I know we said that Diego Alvarado was supposed to race last weekend. Unfortunately, something happened and he was not able to participate. That's why you don't see him on the point standings yet, because he has not raced yet this season. So after the first road course of the season, Cody, what are your thoughts from last weekend's race?
Well, I think first of all, just looking at who our race winner was, Drive-Thru. I mean, a lot of us do know he comes from a road course racing background, so we're looking for him to do well. But I think there's a lot of people who may have, not thought that he may have, earned the Homestead win, because, cautions had to come out and whatnot, and he got some lucky cautions and made some moves to get the win in that race. But I think this win from last week at Canadian Tire, it kind of backed up that first win that he got at Homestead. Hey, it wasn't just a fluke. I am one of the top guys out here. I am a championship contender, and I'm good at everywhere that we go. And then just look, the other guys who are up there in contention, Sloppy battling up there for the second half of the race with Drive-Thru was really the only person that could keep pace with him. He's secured himself as top race contender, race in and race out with that performance, even though he made some mistakes. And then also, what if he kind of fell off a little bit throughout the race, but he also did have that terrible pit road glitch. But, I think so far, our top 3 so far are who we saw in that race last week: Drive-Thru, Sloppy, and What If.
Yeah, Drive-Thru and What If. So far, those are really the only 2 that are being discussed as championship contenders. Drive-Thru trying to go 3 in a row tonight here at the Paperclip. Well, last weekend at Canadian Tire, while it wasn't an eventful race towards the front, it was an eventful race from the back end of the field. Jonathan Ramos, known as IDK Player, had a, let's just say, controversial race last weekend at Canadian Tire, and because of his actions, the Core League has announced that IDK Player has been suspended indefinitely for the remainder of the season. This is an official quote from the Core's Twitter page. It says, quote, IDK Player has been suspended from Core for the remainder of the season due to track actions at CTMP. His eligibility for Season 3 will be reevaluated during the off-season. So the reaction on social media has been sort of supportive of IDK suspension, but Cody, I want to know your thoughts on the suspension of IDK Player.
Well, I have to be honest. We can't say that we haven't seen this coming, Jeff. And I think this is about time. When we see someone suffering from the effects of IDKism, I think it's only appropriate that the admins of the Core League take action.
I'm sorry, IDKism? Can you explain that, please?
Well, sure. Well, first we got to go back to the beginning, Jet.
Okay.
And it's not just in this race. We've seen clips of it in earlier races too. Let's just look, for example, Richmond. IDK is driving around the track, constantly spinning out. He wasn't quite in the way of people, but he was just kind of having a terrible day. But did it really affect anyone else? Third race of the year at Homestead had some problems as well. He was kind of towards the back. But oh boy, we saw the full effects of IDKism last week at Canadian Tire.
Oh boy.
So let's look at the entire race, for example. At first, it started off as, a minor case of the symptoms. We see IDK going through the grass, especially through the turns 5 and 6, hairpin back there, cutting some corners, whatnot, getting loose. And then eventually, just after the first few laps of the race, IDK finds himself in the back. But here is where we really start to see the effects of IDKism.
Okay.
All of a sudden, from out of nowhere, IDK decides to take the jump. He takes a jump in the middle of a core league race, Jet. And not only that, but instead of landing back on the asphalt, he gets stuck on the wall.
Yeah.
His left side tires are stuck on the pavement. His right sides are stuck up on the wall. So what does he do to try to get free of the wall, Jet?
What? What does he do?
He jams it in the third gear, revving up the RPMs, just completely destroying his motor. And by doing this as well, he blows his left rear tire. And even though damage is turned off, the tire damage causes cosmetic damage to the car. So he has damage everywhere.
Wow.
So,
please continue. There must be more.
Oh, there is definitely more, Chad. This is an important issue. So IDK is finally able to get the car free off the wall, but in his current demented state, he can't drive forward. He has to drive in reverse back to pit road. And this is where the effects of IDKism are really bad. Let's look at Cody Hickenstream, for example. We see him coming up on IDK player. IDK is on the left side of the track, kicking up all types of dirt. And then all of a sudden, right when he gets to him, he shoots to the right. But the interesting thing, though, is that on IDK's stream, he's on the right side of the track. Wow. You know that IDKism has really bad because the symptoms have spread to the game, Jet. The game doesn't know what side of the track that he's on.
Oh,
so because of this, it takes out Cody H, and it completely takes him out of a sixth place running with Michael Mroots, and it just takes him out of contention there.
Wow. I'm pretty sure there was more.
Oh, there is much, much more. I was just pausing to catch my breath, Jeff.
Oh.
after this, from that, I don't know if it's from that hit or what happened. IDK, he's driving around in a daze. He's trying to leave the track, but nope, the cone's holding back. He's driving around looking in the infield, what's happening? And so he finally comes pit road. But after that, even though everything's repaired, he's still a nuisance to everybody. IDK managed to get in the way of all three top running contending cars, Jet. He slowed up Sloppy Joe. He slowed up What If, and he slowed up Drive Through. And after this, he continues to drive around in the days, and then to cap it off, it's just terrible, Jet. After all of this, he hits the jump again, Jet. He hits the jump again after getting stuck the last time and being in the contention of all the other contenders. It's just terrible, Jet. It's terrible.
Oh, no. Well, this is clearly a huge epidemic. What can we do to stop the spread of IDKism?
I'll tell you what we can do, Jet.
Oh.
We know how that we have to go to the source of this epidemic.
Oh, really?
We got to go to the source of this disease. We know how IDK always says to drop the hammer.
Yeah?
Well, I say that from now on, if we see people being affected by the disease of IDKism, we take this hammer and we drop the hammer on their controllers, their wheels, their systems. We cannot afford to have IDKism in online racing or in the core league.
Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Well,
It's a serious matter, Chet. It's serious.
oh
We can't have
no,
this,
no,
Chet.
don't
We
cry.
can't have it.
Don't cry.
We can't have it. It's terrible, but it's okay. He's gone. He's suspended for the rest of the season. Maybe he'll get better. Okay. I'm done.
Are you done? Don't cry,
I'm
man.
done.
It's gonna be better. Everything will
good.
feel better.
We're good.
Wow. Oh, I need to get, man. There's tears in my eyes from laughing so hard.
Here. You want my towel?
Yeah,
Jack?
give me the towel.
Here you go.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah, I'll use the Santa hat.
I'll wipe your screen.
Yeah,
there you
go.
Okay.
All right. Well,
I think we should move on to something else.
I think we should. This sounds traumatizing for you now. Just it's like, alrighty. Well, even though we had all that happen, there were some drivers that stood out to you. Let's take a look now at your Workman's Power 5 for this weekend. Who are the 5 drivers you got for this weekend at Martinsville?
Okay, well, first off, I don't think you can ignore the fact that drive-through is on all cylinders right now. Not only did he get his second win of the season as the only driver to do that, but he did it going back to back, being a rookie, might I add, that went back to back. Being able to hold off What If in the beginning part of that race, and then battling back and forth with Sloppy Joe, was able to keep himself calm, cool, and collected, and get that win. Second, right now, once again, I have What If, another strong run in third place, was in contention for the win early. Qualified on the front row, and had something for drive-through. I just think, some things like the unfortunate pit road glitch mishap, that kind of cost him. It wasn't his fault at all. It was all in the game, and that kind of cost him some time towards the end of that race. Now, in rank P3, I think it's fair to put him up there now, even though he missed the first 2 races of the season. I finally have Sloppy Joe in the Power 5, have him sitting P3 after his speed that he had at Homestead and the great performance that he had last week at Canadian Tire, being in contention for the win. Made some mistakes there towards the end, but still had a great strong run and proving that he is definitely is a contender. Sitting in 4th on my list, first time he's made the Power 5, I have Joseph Lombard. Had a great consistent run last week at Canadian Tire. Was practically sitting 4th, 5th place the entire race. Didn't really have anything for the top 3, but this is consistency in the entire year. He's sitting 3rd place in the standings. So I don't think we can ignore that. And then sitting in 5th, I know he missed last week, but I have Dale Reynolds sitting in 5th. Fortunately, couldn't make last week due to work, I believe it was. But still, he's great car, great speed. He is quite in a bit of a points hole right now. Back there, like with Ed Soundhead, who also missed last week. But still, I don't think it's he doesn't need to be too worried at this point.
All right, yeah. Dale Reynolds, I believe, is 7th in points. Ed Soundhead, also believe, right behind him in 8th or 9th due to sickness from last week. All right, well, let's now jump over to our favorite segment of the pre-race show, Workman's World. Cody Workman is going to take you around the half-mile paperclip track of Martinsville Speedway in this edition of Workman's World from Martinsville.
Welcome everybody to Workman's World. Now, I know a lot of you are probably wondering, Workman, how come you're not in your usual get-up? Well, I intended on recording this segment before my vacation to Florida, and it didn't happen. So, welcome to my vacation residence. Very beautiful trip down here, and was able to bring my PS4 along to showcase you guys around this racetrack and commentate for you guys tonight's race. It should be very exciting. So we're in Martinsville, and just looking at experience from last year, this was a quite challenging track for other people. We saw people getting into each other, bouncing off doors, turning people around, people getting penalties after the race. It was one, let's just say, giant cluster. It was a big old cluster of guys just bouncing around, turning people around, all sorts of things like that. So much like Richmond, it's going to be a case of the guys who keep their cool the longest will probably do well here. And what I mean by that, well, let's look at the Cup Series, for example. We've seen Clint Boyer take out both Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson going through the line of turn 1. We've seen Denny Hamlin take out Chase Elliott, and we cannot forget the probably the most iconic event ever in Martinsville. Matt Kenseth taking out Joey Logano from past replications from Kansas and Talladega, and from earlier in that race too, might I add. So, as far as getting around this place, it's pretty difficult here. You guys are going to see guys diving it down to turn one. I drifted up a little bit here, but interesting line you're going to see some guys run. As the tires get older, and it's going to be a little bit loose getting off corners, you're going to see guys run a diving line, go up a little bit higher in a 1 and 2, try to cut back down, coming out of turns 2 and 4, so they're going to drive it up high here, going in the 1 and 3, cut back down, up 2 and off 4, and see me coming up on these AI guys right now. Lap traffic is going to be a huge picture in tonight's race. Should be an interesting one, guys, but don't lose the cool, don't spin out. Like that. Ow. Of course, then he can't stand the ground. So, Martin.
Let's take a look now at the race analysis for tonight's 250.5 paperclip track. 500 left turns. That's an important thing to note right there. And the pit window should be around 70 to 75 laps. Cody, what do you think we're going to expect here around the short track?
Well, first of all, just that right in there, 500 left turns, but that's also getting on the brake 500 times. That's also getting back in the gas 500 times. This is a very, very technical racetrack. And then also, too, just something else to note as far as how the car handles. Just from my experience, I haven't spent a whole lot of time on the track this week, but just from my experience racing at Martinsville, on default setups on these sliders, these cars get really, really, really loose when you get back into the throttle. So I think, what we're going to see a lot of guys doing is, maybe like Richmond, where they're putting a slider that's like the max that you put it is like a 5. Just because like cars will get that loose when you get back on the gas off exit just after like 15 laps. These cars want to get sideways off the corners. So with that being said, like just how technical this track is, I would expect to see guys, who are good at road courses, like Drive Thru and like Sloppy and What If, and maybe even Raw Gator, be up there in contention for this win, just because it is a really technical driver's racetrack.
All right, now let's move on to the last segment of this pre-race show, the pick to win. Cody, you're up first. Who you got?
It's been a little bit difficult for me to actually pick, just because, I think there's so many guys who can possibly get it done. But I think this guy is kind of kicking himself. He had 2 great cars for 2 weeks in a row and kind of made some mistakes that threw the win away. But I think that he was in great position to get this win at this place last year. And I think if he can just focus and put a full race together, he can get it done. I will say Sloppy Joe will get his first win of the season.
Sloppy Joe, wow, nice pick. Well, based off history, I would have picked Ed Soundhead. He's the defending race winner at Martinsville. But I'm still going to be jumping on the bandwagon. I think this driver, he's going to go 3 in a row. And he's going to be a threat not only for this race, but for this championship. I've got Drive Thru. As you said earlier, it's kind of like a road course, on the brakes, back on the gas. You really need to control your car, control your brakes, control with throttle control. And, I feel like Drive Thru is going to get it done. If not, then I agree with you with Sloppy Joe, but I got the Canadian going 3 in a row this weekend.
Guys, I don't think it's something we've ever seen before in the Core League, seeing someone go 3 in a row. So.
And I feel like he has the car to do it. I feel like this weekend.
Definitely.
Alrighty. Well, thank you so much, Cody, for joining us on the pre-race show. This is gonna be a fun race tonight. The Fender 250, presented by SmokeCarbon13, is coming up next. Thank you so much for tuning into the On MDK Crew show. For Cody Workman, my name is Jack Krause. So long from Martinsville. Let's get to racing. Alrighty, and we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to, I believe, race 4 or 5. I think it's race 5 of the Core League driver meetings are wrapping up. We got Cody Workman here, who's in another place again. You need to stop switching places.
I am a busy man. I am a man that is always on the move. I go where my feet take me. I go where I feel like I need to go. So here I am in your neck of the woods, here down in Florida. So I will say I'm pretty disappointed. I got here Tuesday and it was super humid, 83 degrees, and felt like 88. And
Yeah.
then since yesterday, the wind's blowing like 20 miles an hour, and it feels. I wake up this morning at 50 degrees.
Yeah, it was like that with us
I'm
also.
sorry. I guess I brought Illinois' cold weather with me.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole week it was warm, and then I woke up this morning and it's like, why is it cold now? So I probably had a feeling. It probably knew that you were coming. And I figured it might get used to your environment. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, judging by the little segment where you, I guess, imitated Jimmy Spencer, a lot of people loved that. We saw some of the comments. People were cracking up. I don't know. We might have to make this a weekly thing.
I don't know. Well, I mean, I was thinking about this for a while, and of course, like, we don't want to steal ideas, but it's like I was looking at this, and I'm like, he's been like this for the past couple weeks now, and like tonight, he just really showed it.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite, just like NASCAR talk show clips of all time has been Jimmy Spencer's take on Pickerism, and I was like, do you think we can diagnose IDKism and break that down?
Yeah, I mean,
I felt like it was the right time to address that. So I don't know if we're gonna do something like this every week, but I don't know. We'll see, depending on how bad some of these guys do. I mean, we saw last year at this racetrack, people were going all over the place. So if we see something like last year happen tonight, we may be addressing a few things next pre-race.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the good thing about this race, unlike last year, is number one, IDK is not in it. Number two, Caleb's not in it. So we know for sure it's going to be a much cleaner race. And yeah, so we're going to take a look now at the entry list for tonight's Fender Bender 250 presented by SmokeCarbon13. And I just got word from one of the admins, Darian, who is racing tonight, that Ed Soundhead, he will not be racing tonight as we take a look at the entry list. Michael Costa Jr., Brian Pasternak, Ed Soundhead, he is on the list, but he will not be racing again. He will not be racing tonight. Joey Stone in the 8, Brendan Littell in the 22, Darian Gillum in the 25, Cody Hicken in the 28, Jake Baskinger in the 38, Rusty Walrus in the 59, David Cornelius, drive-thru in the 77, Joseph Lombard in the 82, Trey Normal in the 85, and Jarrett Lundberg in the 88 car. Alrighty, so yeah, with that, Ed Sound is not in it. Dale Reynolds, he's not racing tonight. I mean, I think this all but confirms now. It's going to be between Pasternak, Costa Jr., Stone, Joey Stone, and I feel like drive-thru. What do you think?
Well, keep in mind, too, Joey Stone, he missed the first two races of the season, and tonight marks the second race that Ed and Dale Reynolds will be missing. But the thing about them is that, yes, they missed two races, but also they both had, like, bad races. Homestead was a bad race for both of them. I know, Dale, he was running in the top three during most of that race and kind of got caught and thrown to the back towards that race with the cost and everything. But then Ed himself, he was just kind of, around, 8th, 9th place most of that race and just couldn't find the speed to get up there. So with their bad runs on top of them missing, they're basically going to need great runs for every single race the rest of this season. If not that, they would also need some bad luck to happen on some of those guys up front. And right now, that's just not happening. Drive-thru and what if they are running away from the rest of the field, but you also have Joseph Lombard back there who doesn't quite have the speed of those guys, but he's consistently finishing in or around the top 5 every week. And sometimes just getting that basing line of consistency could make you an eventual contender.
Yeah, and one thing that also we should point out that we are going to be racing at nighttime, so it's going to be a lot of fun seeing some short track racing under the lights. Now, I have one quick question, and that is, do you expect, like last year, any suspensions are going to happen? Do you expect any form of payback or drivers getting heated?
Oh my goodness. Well, we just talked about a whole little segment about guys losing their cool a little bit or kind of being clueless. So, I mean, we could see an instance of history repeating itself, but I don't think it's just based off of guys getting heated. I think it's just going to be based off the car handles. Um, Personally, when I've been driving around a little bit more in the car, those rear tires, they lose grip so quickly.
Yeah.
And you saw on Workman's roll there in the second, like I just in the segment coming off four, I just got back in the gas like normal, and then all of a sudden, zoop, car wanted to spin around, and I overcorrected and turn around. So it's going to be like Richmond almost, where you're going to see guys make a lot of presets that are on a lot of the tighter side, just trying to gear for that longer run. And because of that, the car is going to be really tight in the beginning, middle of the run, and that right front tire is just going to wear really quick.
And also, what do you think with like, what preset would you consider these drivers use?
Well, I thought I yeah, guys are just going to be getting loose. I would not be surprised if, if we have long green flag runs tonight, that it's going to be like we probably won't see green flag pit stops just because guys will be getting so loose coming off these corners.
Alrighty, so yeah, we're gonna go to your guys' questions right now. Use hashtag AskCore on MDK because I don't know, we really don't have anything much else to say at this point, I guess. So yeah, just use questions again. Hashtag AskCore booth, I should say, so that we could get some I don't know, just I guess fill up time to get to racing. Alrighty. Well, I mean, okay, Cedar Brown again. Man, what is with Cedar Brown and What If Racing? How aggressive will Brian Parasonik be to possibly win tonight?
Well, I've seen that just What If himself, like he's just really conservative on, like just like he's really smart, really smart racer. He doesn't push the issue. I mean, he'll do what he needs to do, but if he sees that there's a hole or whatever, he won't like force to make like a pass or whatever in the hole. He'll wait for the hole to open up a little bit, and then he'll take his position there. But looking at last year's race, he and Ed Soundhead were like those last few restarts are 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. What If constantly restarting on his outside, and eventually What If got punted out of the way. It was trying to play catch up and didn't get that win. But he did win Bristol later that year. So I think What If is really thinking about last year's race, thinking about how he just kind of got shoved out of the way a bit. And I think he knows that guys are willing to do that. So the name of the game is going to be if the majority of your competition is going to bump people out of the way for a position or for a win. You may just have to start doing that yourself.
All right. Well, next question comes from Denny Delivers. He says, will IDKism continue?
If it does, it may come in the form of a different name.
And who would that be?
I am not quite sure at the moment. But I mean, I think a lot of it just comes towards, like what guys are in their current position. And one guy I think of who could be stressing out about where they are points wise. I'm not saying he's going to go to the level of taking people out or whatnot, but we see guys when they're in desperate positions and they're in horrible positions, they may do desperate things to try to do things up. And one guy that comes to mind who is in a bad position right now is Raw Gator. Raw Gator has had zero luck.
Yes.
I think he got a top 5 at Homestead. But
we weren't there to see it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he had the ghost card, so we couldn't tell.
Yeah.
He was one of those guys that got lucky off that late race restart, was able to cut through the field. But besides that, like, it hasn't been a thing of him having mad speed. He's had great speed, but I mean, Homestead he came back, but Daytona, he was always stuck in the back of the pack, and he make his way up there. And last week, Canadian Tire, he ended up disconnecting, and that's not his fault. like, you just can't help certain things. And like we saw him earlier, he wrecked and he was starting to drive through the field. I thought he was going to be good, but he ended up disconnecting. So just little things like that. And then also Richmond, he had some issues there. He stayed out too long, and his right rear tire popped and spun him around, brought up that caution. So he's in really, really desperate need to have something go his way, because he's way back in the points, way back farther than I anticipated.
Yeah, and he has. We've seen him run up front. He just needs to have luck go on his side. I believe he's 13th right now in the point standings. Hopefully to get a good run here tonight at Martinsville. Let's see what is next. Who's your underdog pick? Says Crispy Fried Racer. What a name.
I gotta think about this for a second. I mean,
I got Littell.
Littell, yeah, he's showed pretty good speed at Richmond. He got he fell back a little bit, ended up getting put a lap down, but he came back. But I mean, I think a lot of our guys who we expect to be fast are going to be up towards the front tonight. But I feel like I'm going to have to agree with you, and saying that Littell's up there. But if I was to pick another person, just not to copy off you, I'm going to say Iceberg. I know.
Ooh, Iceberg.
He may be way out there for some people, but I mean, he finished top 5 last week at Canadian Tire. And road courses in general, with how that track was, cars getting up on their side and whatnot, up on 2 wheels, and a lot of those corners, road courses, you gotta drive them like a short track.
Mm-hmm.
And he did a really good job. And I think if he can contain himself a bit and just focus on just running where he's at and just trying to get more consistent finishes, he could be a potential player. We never know.
I mean, with Iceberg, with how good he ran at Canadian Tire, to be honest, I was expecting him to finish in the back of the pack. I just did not expect, specifically with last year, he was not that good. So a massive improvement for Iceberg. He's also a really good underdog pick, I feel like, as well as Littell. And one thing I noticed, Littell, the past 2 races, I think I was at Homestead and at Canadian Tire. Both times he said he's not confident he's going to do well. And when he says that, he does well. And I believe this week, he entered Martinsville saying, I don't think I'm going to do well. So by that logic,
so we'll see.
By that logic, he's going to win. Alrighty. Let's see. DualShock. How long will the field last until the field is dead?
I don't know. Well, I mean, that's why we gotta watch.
Yeah. If you want to know, you better stay tuned.
I don't know how to answer that one.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Alrighty. When do you think... Okay, this is from Unloaded Cube 88. When do you think Lombard will break through and win his first points-paying race?
I need time now, and I have him as, in my opinion, the next guy who does not have a win yet. He's going to end up getting a win. He's sitting 3rd in points, just not that many points off of the lead. I think he's around 13 or 22 points back. I'm not entirely sure off the top of my head, but he's sitting 3rd in points, and he's been very consistent up to this point. And he almost got that win at Homestead. And he didn't have the speed of those top 3 last week, but he was sitting solidly in 4th at Canadian Tire all race. So he is definitely, I think he is really close to getting his first win.
All right. Let's go now to Alejandro FPV. He says, will there be a photo finish this season? If yes, then where?
I think next week, Kansas. I think for me personally, Kansas is one of my favorite racetracks, and even though the top line is the most dominant line, we had guys that we've seen this other league races and stuff throughout PS4 and such and Xbox, for guys dive bombing it in the turn 1, and I'm going to throw a little shameless plug in there. But Carnation Cup Series a couple of weeks ago was at Kansas, and me and 2 of my teammates, last lap, we were all together. I sent it on the inside of Baron 8, when I was in second and he was in first. I went inside. I came up, stopped in front of him, and then one of my other drivers, Jaw, he cut down underneath both of us, and we were 3 wide coming off 4, coming to the line. John ended up getting that win. But I mean, just little things like that. I think that is where we're going to see the biggest potential for our photo finish, and if not, obviously, you gotta look at Talladega.
Oh yeah. I mean, I would have said Talladega. Talladega would have been the big one for me to expect to see a photo finish. But yeah, who knows? We could see one at Kansas. I mean, if it's anything like what we saw last weekend at Homestead, or not last weekend, but at Homestead, it should be a very fun race indeed. All right, Random Asteroid says, what driver improved the most from last season so far? So basically, inconsistent to consistent.
Go ahead, take this one real quick.
Oh. Okay. Was expecting that. I mean, I had to. You put me on the spot, so I was expecting it. Okay, well, I agree with what I said earlier. I think Jarrett Lundberg, Iceberg. I mean, he was just not there. Was riding for the back of the pack most of the time, and now this season he's ran a lot more up front. Was a pretty good contender, I felt like, at Daytona. Bit too aggressive, but that's nothing wrong at Super Series Racing. But yeah, I think Iceberg is the most improved so far this season.
Yeah, definitely, and I would have to say too, like he was actually going to be my pick too. I had to take something real quick, but yeah, I mean, for those who saw earlier, like I did a top 10 list earlier today, just certifying quarter of the way through the season, see how everyone's going, and I have him ranked the 7th up there. He has done phenomenal so far in this first quarter of the season. And a lot of it is, you know, him not making his own mistakes and, you know, him having better cars, just learning how to drive better on this new game. And though he's one of those guys who are not a championship contender yet, or championship contender, or race winning contender yet, he has done phenomenal.
All right, wait, what were your just for let's see here. I believe you already answered who's okay. Jennifer Ball, who will get the most penalties, or who will get penalties tonight? I should say. I know it's kind of a can't really answer that. I don't think.
I don't know. I mean, as far as like, let's see, like who will get the most penalties. I mean, guys will only assess penalties if they think you know what guys have done has been like blatant or just downright dumb.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think like it's positive to be talking about who do we think will end up getting penalties or not.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I think all these guys are out here trying to do the best they can, and mistakes happen. We know who's off the corner and end up taking a bunch of people out unintentionally. Yeah, I'm just gonna be confident in that aspect. But I will say, especially if we have a late race restart, we're gonna see guys pulling a Clint Boyer and going down in the corner trying to go 3 wide, and they may end up taking some people out.
Hey, but that would make, and that was one of the questions earlier. Like, will we see 3 wide moves later tonight? I believe that was. Let me take a look at it.
Just a quick thing to add in. So, qualifying has just concluded.
Oh.
And our top 3 are Raw Gator. We talked about he needed to come back. Raw Gator with a 19.613. Sloppy Joe just a tenth and a half behind him. And it looks like Winvow is starting 3rd.
Wow. I mean, that's kind of...
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I shouldn't say it's not surprising, but nice.
Mm-hmm. Well, and we just talked about, too, how Gator, he needs something to go his way.
Yeah.
And he qualified great last week, qualified 3rd. And, this week got pole. And talked about before how he's a great road course racer. And we've seen this in real life too, in the Cup Series or whenever we go to like Martinsville short tracks. Guys doing extremely well on road courses also perform at short tracks. I mean, look at AJ Allmendinger. Allmendinger was one of those guys that did a great job at Martinsville, and he's also known for his road course racing background. So we'll see. I think Gator could be a sleeper here.
Alrighty, we are now joining the race. And, yeah, we should get set to go racing. Just let me change it right here. All right, I know it says drive-through, but we'll change that right now. And bingo. There we go.
I'm going to get in position.
Alrighty, so I believe what is this race 5? I believe of the season.
Yep, race number 5.
Race number 5. We are under the lights. I cannot wait to go racing.
See, tempers flaring, sheet metal bent up. It's gonna be a good one.
Alrighty. On the front row, Trey Norman on the inside, Sloppy Joe on the outside, green flags in the air. We're underway under the lights at Martinsville. Already a jam session of race cars as Trey Norman leads the first lap under the lights here at Martinsville.
Oh, we got trouble already. Bassinger up into the wall. I think 28 of Cody Hitkins. He drove into him a little bit.
Yeah, there he is, spinning. Oh, now gets back to normal. Alrighty.
Top 2 starting to break away here.
Yeah, Sloppy Joe, and behind him, that 8 car, the 85 car, Trey Norman trying to bounce back, as we talked about earlier in the show, after 2 really unfortunate weeks. Or actually got a 5th place at Homestead, but disconnected last weekend at Canadian Tire. Was running pretty well as someone in the light blue car just gave a shot to the 1 car, I feel like. That was Rusty Walrus.
Yep, that's Rusty Walrus back there. You see a lot of these guys from about 6th on back. They're good. They're trying to take every position, every advantage of these restarts as possible. You know, with these restarts, that's the best time to be able to pick off positions, especially if you're lining up on that inside lane.
Meanwhile, up front, there was a lead change. The 8 car, Sloppy Joe was able to get by the 85 car, Trey Norman, second leader of the race. Sloppy Joe really needed to have a good run. Came off nearly one race last weekend at Canadian Tire. I believe it was 9th or 10th, or was near the first page of the point standings. So he is on the up. But if he wants to have a shot at championship, he needs to win at very, very soon.
Looking back at 4th place, our Richmond winner this year, Windvow, he just got around Jarrett Lundberg for 4th place. Going to be interesting to see if he can work his way up. But we got a caution.
Oh, caution. Caution on the track.
Oh, I think Rusty was around on the backstretch. Something may have happened. Oh, Rusty got airborne.
Oh.
Rusty got airborne, and he went flipping down the backstretch.
Oh, no. All right, first
I'm looking at his replay right here. He's coming off turn 2. He's got Littell on his left rear. Oh, Rusty gets loose. He hits Littell, comes back up the racetrack, hits the outside wall, and I believe Joseph Lombard drove underneath him and launched him up in the air.
Wow, did 1 or 2 barrel rolls. Coming back to rest. 245 laps remaining, which so we only 5 or 6 laps in this thing, and already our first caution.
And I'll be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some people come and take tires right here.
And we did. Trey Norman took tires, I believe, and that allows the 1 car Pasternak to jump to row 1 on the outside. Joey Stone leads him back to the green.
Is he looking like 3 wide for a second? 3 wide in the back. Oh, and the 1 car hits the wall a bit. We're 3 wide for 3rd.
Oh, now back side by side. Drive through representing new colors of Mountain Dew. That beautiful neon black Ford.
3 wide in the back. Looks like how that all got bobbled up is they had the 88 of Lundberg. He backed out to keep from 3rd place going 3 wide, but when he did that, it just backed everything up, and that sent him to the back.
Rusty Walrus being challenged by the 38 car, Jake Baskinger, and he makes a pass for the 11th spot.
It'll be interesting to see how these guys have decided to come down pit fair against these 2 guys, Sloppy Joe and What If, who decide not to pit. We already see Gator on the back bumper of Sloppy. If I was Gator, I'd hurry up and take advantage of those new tires, because as his run goes on, those tires are going to start to even out.
And right now, Trey Norman trying to get a run going into the corner. Sloppy Joe trying to get the run out of the corner, it looks like. The 8 car went a bit high, entering 1 and 2.
Let's look at the line that Gator's running a little bit. He got bobbled up a little bit there, but he's entering the corner higher. And why he's doing that is that he's entering higher, and that allows him in the center to cut back down to that curbing right there. and try to get a good run off. But Sloppy right now, he's doing a really good job of getting a good run off the corner and is keeping Gator from being able to get a Fender on him down the straightaway.
Take a look at some other drivers, some side-by-side battles. Oh, the 88 car, Jared Lumber, way up the racetrack. Here comes the 22 of Littell trying to get a Fender underneath him.
Our other guy right now that ended up staying out under that last caution, what if he's still sitting comfortably in fourth? So far, I mean, it was only a few laps, about seven or eight laps or so that these guys went before we had that first caution. So maybe not the hugest effect between fresh tires and old tires, but we saw it right there, a little bit of contact from Winval. He's going to try to take the sports position.
Ooh, drive through way up the racetrack, and I believe the 85 car just got into the back end of the 8 car just a little bit. So far, Joey Stone has led all but I believe just 3 or 4 laps so far here tonight. Trey Normal was the other race leader. 3rd place is drive through. 4th is Winval or Michael Costa Jr. 5th place is Brian Pasternak.
We talked about this a little bit earlier that after these restarts, after a few laps, everyone really starts to get strung out. I mean, we see about the top 9 cars all like pretty much strung out, and they're not really battling with anyone. And then you got our 10th through 11th back here by themselves. Important to note that Rusty Walrus, he ended up getting wrecked, and he has yet to be able to make his way through the field, and hasn't made up any positions yet.
Yeah, still dead last in 12th place.
Looking back here for about the 6th position, Joseph Lombard got on the curb a little bit, and Lombard, he's trying to look to the inside of him a bit, but Lombard, he goes,
oh, the 88 car. And right in front of Littell. They keep it going, but man.
They're beating. We got 3 wide. Oh, Darian, that may be a little bit too early for that.
Trying to go 2 for 1 deal and turn 3. Whoa, and muscles his way past 2 cars. Gets by the 88 and the 22, but
that was way too early for that. Darian, he got the position, but I mean, I gotta think about at what cost, because
3 wide again. Whoa!
In the wall.
More contact between the 88 and the 25.
Message sent by the 88 right there.
He's like an eye for an eye. You put me in the wall, all right, then I'll put you in the wall.
Yeah, well, not necessarily put him in the wall, but like Darian, like, you know, the 22 of Littell, when he gets loose.
Oh, and up in the air.
Lumberg, he's gonna flip.
Brendan Littell gets up in the air, collects, I believe, 2 other cars. No caution.
Though.
Wow, okay, that was very weird. I'm surprised there was no caution for that. Meanwhile, Trey Normal, he's all over the back bumper of the 8 car. Joey Stone for the lead. Lap 25 complete.
Yeah, Gator's keeping him pretty honest right here. He has a little bit of fresh tires, but another guy is starting to creep into the position. He got around drive-through for 3rd place. Here comes Winval, our Richmond winner. Now we're starting to see Gator use some different lines here. I think he notices that 00 coming up.
And 8 car got really loose off of 2.
And he's going to clear him, maybe not. He goes up the track a bit. Can Gator get this run off the corner?
Oh, contact! And Norma leads at the line.
Want to see what the 00 decides to do here. Is he just going to sit back and be patient and try to follow the 85? Nobody's going to look underneath the 8.
3 cars beneath the blanket, and
going to let him go.
Very nice move by the 8 car as Winval jumps to 2nd place. And now, with that little issue there, that brought along the 77 car into the mix, maybe.
Yeah, but I think right now our fastest car on track right now is that 00 Winval, and we saw at Richmond, once Winval got in front, there was no stopping him. He was able to just pull away, and his only competition that night was really Dale Reynolds, but Dale isn't here tonight, and yes, these guys may be in for a long night as Winval just took the lead.
Winval takes the lead. It looked like pretty effortlessly. It looks like the 85 car probably just gave him the spot, knew that he was much faster, decided to maybe not put up a fight.
Yeah, and I think that's what that's what he needs to do at this point. I know he may be reluctant on letting the fastest car get away just because we saw how much of a clinic that Winval put on at Richmond. But I mean, it's early. You can't be pulling any moves, any aggressive moves like we saw Darian pull just about 10 laps ago. Because when you do stuff like that, that basically sets the tone between you and that other guy for the rest of the race.
Right now, everything is spread out throughout the entire field. Only 12 cars participating here tonight. If you missed it earlier, we put out the entry list at about 4 o'clock this afternoon. But just to let everyone know, the 2-car Ed7 are not participating tonight due to an ongoing sickness, or illness, I should say. So we wish them a speedy recovery.
Little change for the position. Back in the pack, we got Black Lives Matter, Darian Gillum. He got around Joseph Lombard. I believe that is for about the 6th position. One thing, looking at the front windshield of Winval right now, he's starting to encounter some lap traffic. He's got Cody Hicken not too far up in front of him, and I believe there's a black car.
I think it's the 25 car. No, that's Littell.
Yeah, so Littell, we thought he had good speed last before at Richmond, but obviously struggling here.
One thing though that I'm kind of surprised at is the 00 car really hasn't gone away from the 85 car. He's still there.
Yeah, he's keeping them honest, and I think that's one thing that Gator likes to do. He likes to he does a lot of studying, and he wants to know the driving styles of other people. So that's probably like what he did, why he let the 00 go on by. He's like, hey, I'm gonna I'll just stay in the tire tracks of Winval here. What is he doing with his car different? Is he just changing how is he running his line? And maybe if I can run how he is, I can keep pace. And so far he has.
Let's take a look at some other drivers. We should expect these drivers to come on to pit road at around 40 laps or so, as at least according to their estimated fuel window.
A little contact here for the 9th position. It looks like Jake Bassinger, he's going to get around Rusty Walrus for the 9th position. And they're one of 3 cars that our leaders are about ready to catch up on. So with these guys battling for position, we're going to have to see if they just let the leaders on by or if they're going to make it difficult for them.
Oh, and the 59! And he put him in the wall!
Puts Littell on the wall. That's the 2nd time we've seen Littell get put into the wall.
Man, that is not going to be good.
Winval, and here comes Gator. He's going to try to take advantage of it. And nope, Rusty let him by.
59 car lets him by. That is not going to end well for Littell. Littell was at least trying to stay on the lead lap. Got 59 car Walrus gets loose and just squeezes him into the wall. So yeah, it looks like Littell, he's not going to be happy about that.
Guy's starting to fall back to the field a little bit as the 82 car, Joseph Lombard. He's getting really loose off exit right now. And Darian passed him not too many laps ago, and now he's under attack by the 88 of Iceberg. And how about this 38 car?
Jake Baskinger.
In jeopardy of almost going down a lap here, but he's sitting up there in the 9th spot.
I mean, for the year that he's had, or the season that he's had so far, I think this in itself is already a really good run for the 38 car of Jake Baskinger. Just being able to contend for position, being able to pass cars is already improvement.
Well, yeah, I mean, even though there's only 12 cars here running tonight, I mean, I look at it as, who's the guy that he's racing with? Well, right now he's trying to get around Joseph Lombard, who's sitting 3rd in points and sitting 4th in the power rankings, and he's trying to come up on Jarrett Lundberg, who we've said is probably the most improved driver so far this season.
Now, even though Baskinger is moving up, just got by the 82 car. Look who's right on their back bumper. The 00 car, Michael Cossey Jr. dives to the inside of the 82 car. And he's going to put the Napa Chevrolet all lap down off of 2.
Put them both a lap down, and the 82, he's going to try to get that position back from the 38, but this is terrible for Gator right now. I think Gator may give the 82 a little bit of a shove there, like, hey, guys, I'm sorry, but I got to go keep track with that 00, because the 00, he's pulled about a 1 second lead.
And that just caused the 82 car to put the 38 car in the wall. Ooh. And the 38 car just went up the racetrack and got into the left rear corner panel of the 82 car. I don't know if that was contact, like on purpose, or if he got loose.
Well, we saw this at Richmond, the 00 car. He was so fast that he was putting all types of people a lap down, and it looks like Winvow has lapped all the way up to the 7th position, so make that only 6 cars right now on the lead lap. Your running order right now: Winvow, Raw Gator, Sloppy Joe, Drive Through, What If Racing, and Black Flags Matter.
Yeah, right now, Michael Costa Jr. just domination on the short tracks. Won at Richmond, the 2nd race of the season. Trying to go 2 for 2 on short tracks and also get his 2nd win of the season.
I know we didn't really talk about him a whole lot in the pre-race show, but I mean, at the time, we weren't quite entirely sure if he was going to be able to race or not. He had really good speed at Daytona, and he won his race in Richmond, but that was the last race that he's been able to make. He didn't race at Canadian Tire last week, nor did he race
at Homestead, I believe.
Yeah, at Homestead. So he missed both of those races, and wondering, if he, with that time off, did he lose any momentum? And so far, the answer to that question looks like it's no, as he's continuing to try to pull away from Gator.
And right now the gap is 1.5 seconds between 1st and 2nd place. 3rd place, the 8 car of Joey Stone, 8.1 seconds behind. 4th place, Canada winner.
Contact in front of him. Darius was trying to get around the lap car of Cody Hickey, got a little bit loose through the 28 up into the wall, and he's feeling that pressure because that 00 is about a half a straightaway from lapping him.
Yeah, Cody Hickey, he's about to go 2 laps down, so this is not going how the Daytona 250 winner intended it would here tonight.
Well, this being said, too, the 00, he's pulling even a bigger lead over Gator right now. And that's where we really saw. I mean, the 00 car, he was strong like the entire runs at Richmond, but where we saw him really good was towards the end of these runs. And we have guys getting loose off of exits and stuff, but that 00 car, he's just able to put that power down. And those rear tires are able to grip and just hug that curbing and come off the corner like nothing's even wrong.
Let's take a look and see some. Oh, the 1 car. He came very slow off of it too. I'm not sure if he hit the wall or got loose or something, but he lost a lot of ground.
Yeah, he's kind of in no man's land right now. He's just kind of running by himself in the 5th position. It looks like he's got Littell right behind him, and as well as Rusty, but they are both cars that are 1 lap down.
And right now, the nearest driver to the 1 car, Brian Pasternak, is Darren Gilliam in the 25 car. He's 7 seconds behind. I believe he's on pit road. That's why. So pit stop starting now. I believe this is a bit early.
Well, yeah, think about where he's running on track. He had that leader right on his tail, and maybe with him short pinning here, that'll give him a little bit of a buffer over Winvow. And with that, either that, like his tires are probably just worn. I mean, I'm looking at Rusty Walrus's stream right now, and even though he has 32 laps of fuel, his right front is at 34%.
Oh,
so it looks like the question so far is that I think that right front tire may be about to blow off some of these guys.
And right now, lap 55, 56, I believe. Here in the Fender Bender 250 presented by SmokeCarbon13.
Turn 1 and 2, Cody Hickens hits the wall.
Oh, and the 38 car, Baskinger drives to the back end of him. No caution. Everything keeps on going. I mean, this 28 car, he is just not in it tonight.
Yeah, a lot of us talked about, he had such a great showing at the beginning of this year at Daytona, showed such an aggressive driving style, and looks like maybe this could possibly be a year for him to really turn things around, but unfortunately, since that point, it hasn't really gone that well. Some other guys on pit road right now, 82 car Joseph Lombard. He was a lap down right now. But yeah, he's trying to pull some strategy, possibly to unlap himself.
I believe he now goes 2 laps down now due to his pit stops.
Something else to think about too, you know, with how quick some of these tires are wearing on some of these guys, you know, you have to imagine, you know, how hard our guys are using that right front tire. I mean, we've seen with the new 704 physics that, you know, if you have a joystick, you just can't turn it dead to the left every single time now. Because if you do that, those front tires are going to wear like mad. You can only turn the stick so much. And when you turn it too much, it's going to eat those front tires up. So you have to think here with guys like Rusty who are starting to wear off that right front tire pretty bad. And just some other things. You got to wonder what some of these guys are doing.
And right now, the 00 car, he's opened up to almost a 3-second gap on the 85 car of Trey Normile. So not only
Gator, he doesn't have the best long run car right now. He's getting really loose coming off these corners. I was looking on Rusty's team a little bit when Rusty was behind him, and as soon as Gator was getting back into the gas, that those rear tires just wanting to swing around, and he's dirt tracking it right now, as we would say.
Oh, someone just hit the wall there. That was the 8 car, Joey Stone. Let's see if we can look at some other drivers. Well, let's go to the 59 car, Rusty Walrus. He's repping, I believe it's supposed to be either the STP colors or I think it was Thomas the Train. I think it was that like his cartoon movie. Bright colors on that 59 race machine. Not running as well as we thought he would.
Go up and jump to our 4th place driver right now, Drive Through. He's been the talk of the series so far. He's won the last 2 races, and he's sitting comfortably in 4th position right now. There's Jarrett Lumberg, lap car, going to get out of his way here. But he's kind of in his own little world right now. He's got 2 lap cars right behind him, and oddly enough, the guy who he was battling with the majority of that race, Sloppy Joe, sitting about 2 seconds in front of him by himself in 3rd as well.
Alright, let's see if we can use some other drivers, get some storylines from them.
Back to our leader, Windbow, and trying to catch more lap traffic. And a new guy that Windbow's closing down to put a lap down is What If Racing. He's sitting about 2.5 seconds in front of him. If he was able to get around What If, that would put only 4 cars on the lead lap.
I mean, talk about domination right now for the 00 car. I mean, we saw Drive Through. He was in control of the race, but I don't think we've seen a driver dominate a race so far tonight like Michael Cosi Jr. I mean, he is putting on a whooping on these drivers. And if we take a... this is a funny thing. We saw a lot of drivers on their right sides is around the 30% mark a few laps ago. Currently on Michael Cosi Jr.'s stream, his right sides at this rate are 50%.
Wow, and that's just good. And that's just good car control right now. Obviously has a preset, and you know some of these. Well, yeah, think about it too. We only had 1 caution, and he was one of those guys who took the time to come down pit road. And speaking of coming down pit road, What If Racing, he comes down. He's the last car in the lead lap. He's making his pit stop. This may bring down the weight of other guys as well.
I believe he was in 4th place at the time.
Yeah, 5th.
Oh, 5th place. Sorry, that. And Denny delivers. What? Only 50%? Yeah, that was very surprising to see that number on the 00 car. I mean, because like we said earlier, a bunch of other drivers are around the low 30s, and that was 5 or 6 laps ago.
So going back to the 2nd place skater right now, you got to think, you know, how he is falling extremely off the pace right now from Windbow, almost a full straightaway behind. So with that being said, you got to start thinking about, with everyone spread out so far, obviously it's going to be harder for a caution to come out. So you have to start thinking, if you're Gator, do I pull any sort of strategy different? Do I try to stay out longer than him, or do I try to short pit? Because right now, he is definitely losing on the long run, as we got more guys pitting.
And the 88 car of Jarrett Lundberg, and the 22 car just shot the 28 car up the racetrack.
Also, we got third place car, Sloppy Joe. He's coming down. Starting to see a few more hit pit road.
I mean, sooner or later, the 00 cars are going to have to come on pit road. Right now, only 3 drivers remain on the lead lap.
Yeah, we are in the middle of pit cycles right now, so we're going to have to see where everything shuffles out. And, I mean, fresh tires here are a lot.
The 00 car. Apparently, he had some contact with the 82 car of Joseph Lombard.
Well, Joseph, he's pitted already, so he has fresher tires. So, he's trying to take position of that, and he wasn't too far off of. He was one of those guys that got lapped by Winval, and so maybe he tried to come down pit early and try to make up some ground. But yeah, that's something you have to run in with when you have so many lap down cars who have pitted and yet the leader is staying out.
Currently, 3 drivers are on the lead lap. The 00 car, Michael Costa Jr., 2 seconds behind is the 85 car of Trey Normal, and
he's
third
got a
place.
gaggle around him right now. We have a mix of guys who have pitted already. Jarrett Lundberg, he's already pitted. He's trying to make up some time. Darian Gillum is right behind him as well. He's already pitted. This may be a battle for position right now, actually, between the 88 and the 20 and the 25, and as well possibly the 82.
Let's take a look here at 25 car stream and see if it is for position. Can't seem to find it. Alright. 28 car nearly hit the wall off of 2. Again, just not going his day. The 22 car, Brendan Littell, he's on pit road.
I will say that something I want to mention is that Gator, he started to very slightly close the gap between himself and Winval. So I know there was a little bit of traffic that was holding some of these guys up, but possibly is the tire wear starting to catch up to Winval? Is Gator finding something in his car that he's able to be a little bit better here on this extreme long run? They're one of the only guys who have stayed out so far.
Yeah, and first and third are on the lead lap. However, fourth on back, they are 2 laps down. So, I mean,
so far our lead lap guys who have stayed out so far are our top 3. With that being Winval, Gator, and Drive Through. And the other 2 guys of our top 5 who are on the lead lap, Sloppy Joe, and What If, they've already pitted. So it should be interesting to see how long how much longer these guys stay out.
Right now, just a quick update on how many laps remaining is right now 166 laps to go when the 00 car crosses the start-finish line. So 166 laps remaining here in the Fender Bender 250. You see the 38 car, Jake Baskinger, coming onto pit road.
Some things to say too. We didn't really talk about it at the beginning of the race, but I thought I had the pit window down as 70 to 75 laps. And with these guys able to control their tires the way they are, if they can get to that number of about 150 laps to go, these guys, they could make it on potentially one more pit stop.
Specifically with the 00 car, the way how he's been racing. Right now he is 40% on his right sides. And that was 11 or 12 laps ago. It was on 50%. So, I mean, wow.
Yeah, so they're obviously doing a lot better job of maintaining your tires. The question will be, I think the other thing too is, this track is really easy to stay fueled just based off of your driving style. If if you're more gracious getting into the corner and you do a lot more lifting than getting on the braking, you save so much fuel for just lifting. And we're going to cut off right here because Gator, he's on pit road.
Yeah, the 85 car come on the pit run. It looks like the 00 car, Michael Costa Jr., will also pit next time by, and he has just on a lap and a half left of fuel left. Let's see if he comes on pit road this time by, and he will. So the 85 car pitted 1 lap earlier, and now the 00 car finally forfeits the race lead, but I don't know, he might be able to hold on to the lead after pit stops.
Yeah, he had quite that buffer, and the 00, he decided to come in immediately after Gator. That leaves, I believe, only drive-through as the only guy who hasn't pitted yet. But here's the thing, though, with that being said, when we went back to green after that first caution, it was about lap 11 or so. So there's that, and then so they had about 240 laps to go then, and they made it to about about 165 laps to go. So I think these guys, they are going to be just on the verge of maybe doing one stop.
And right now, the 77 car of drive-through, he had the race lead for just a little bit. You see him now, he's on pit road.
He had a little mishap, too, coming off turn 2. He got pretty loose for some reason, not exactly sure why.
Well, there's a 00 car. As we have around 160 or so laps remaining. There you see the 00 car go by the 77 car of drive-through. And that means the 00 car, Michael Costa Jr., once again is the race leader.
Not so fast. Look who's sitting up there about a second ahead of him.
Oh, 85 car.
Jumped him in the pit cycle, and he is now in lead by 1 second.
No, he's actually the race leader. What if his?
I think I know what happened. I think Raw Gator got a penalty.
A speeding penalty.
That would be about it too, because these guys are going about 20 seconds, 20 seconds a lap here, and Gator was only about 3 seconds behind him, and the 15-second speeding penalty. Yep, that's about it. I'm pretty sure Raw Gator sped.
Yeah, I was wondering because I'm looking right now at Joey Stone's live stream, and it said that the 00 car was leading. So I thought, I probably had to stream a bit back.
I'm looking at a couple different streams as well, and on their mini maps, it all has a 00 as the race leader. Wow, man, that sucks for Gator, and we've talked about it, how he's had fast cars, and it's just little things like this that end up ruining his chance at a really good run. And I mean, he's not totally out of it yet, but I mean, because of how many guys are lapped down at this point. I believe he's running about in the 5th position right now. I want to see where What If is. What If is about a half a straightaway ahead of him.
Oh! And stuck in the outside walls, the 88 car of Jarrett Lundberg. Sorry to cut you off there, but he was stuck on the outside wall. No caution is out.
Oh, we got Rusty hit the wall a little bit right in front of Gator.
And that's going to allow the 00 car to close in tremendously.
So, yeah, but anyway, thankfully with Gator, he hasn't lost a lap yet. I think
No.
he's just on the very tail end of the race of the lead lap. However, you know, he's got to be pushing hard. He cannot, with the speed that his car has, and the only one that has really shown speed to keep up with Widvow, he's got to do all he can to stay in front of him as a lead lap car. And if not, he has to remain the first car 1 lap down.
Yeah, right now, 4 drivers after pit stops. Only 4 drivers remain on the lead lap. That is the 00 car, Michael Costa Jr., the 8 car, Joey Stone, the 1 car of What If Racing or Brian Pasternak, and in 4th place, right ahead of the 00 car, is Raw Gator, Trey Normal. And ahead of the 85 car is the 1 car of Brian Pasternak.
Yeah, so that's going to be our closest battle for position on track once we get to that point. We see an 82 car coming down pit road as well. I think some of these guys are some of these guys are on a two-stop strategy, about a three-stop strategy, and some of these guys are on a two-stop strategy. The guys who are on a two-stop strategy are actually our leaders, and the guys in three-stop strategy are towards the back a little bit.
Right now, I believe it is lap 101 out of 250, so around 150 laps to go in the Fender 250. It has been the Michael Kosey Jr. show, putting on a clinic against the rest of the 12-car field here tonight. As you see, this is a battle for third place between What If Racing and Raw Gator. Now, this should be a good battle, but the thing is that you got the race leader right behind you. As What If Racing jumps up a bit up the racetrack, here comes the 85 car to the inside. Again, this is a battle for third place, entering 3, and that's going to allow the 00 car to eat away that gap.
He scored him a little bit right there.
Yeah,
What If too? He's been out on those tires for quite a bit. He tried a little bit of a short pitch strategy, and we saw actually that 00. He was about ready to put What If Racing a lap down before he decided to come in and pit. So, short-term game, but right now it's turning into a long-term loss.
Yeah, so right now, how this runs, Joey Stone is only 5.7 or so seconds ahead of the 1 car. Or I guess I should say the 85 car of Raw Gator. And here comes the 00 car, and he's getting ready to put the 1 car 1 lap down. And now it's down to just 3 drivers on the lead lap.
We saw the same thing before where at Richmond, there were only 3 cars on the lead lap as well. Someone else want to note too, just because he was up there, it looks like drive-through, he has fallen back to the 5th position. He's a lap down as well. I think like the lap before his pit stop, he had a little bit of a mishap coming off turn 2. So with him being the car that stayed out the longest in that little bit of mishap, that's what's put him a lap down at this point.
You just saw the 25 car of Darren Gilliam. He's also making a pit stop. This time by as the 00 car enters into 1. We have 144 laps to go. I will say, how about the 38 car of Jake Baskinger, a 6th place run, even though he's 2 laps down, 6th place. Very good, very clean run for the 38 car.
Really good. And then actually, I think there's 2 guys in front of him so far that he's one of those guys that are on that 3-stop strategy. And there's 2 guys in front of him that have pit at this point, but still that'll put him in 8th. And so far, a really good night for him. He's been towards basically in the back of the pack for every single race we've had up to this point. And I mean, he's just basically been doing what he's doing. I mean, you don't need to be the fastest guy, but he's just been like really good at just hitting his line and being clean and being consistent, and just doing those things without having the fastest car. It'll give you some good positions.
Right now, we're talking about how Raw Gator's day, or season, I should say, has been nothing but bad luck. Looks like his luck might just get a bit worse. The 00 car is now all over his back bumper, trying to put the 3rd place driver 1 lap down.
Yeah, look too, not too far behind. Well, here's the thing also is that you got Sloppy Joe as well. He's sitting 2nd right now, and he is about to go a lap down as well, and maybe soon here, because he's is on. I think he's going for a 2-stop strategy, but they came in a little bit too early, in my opinion. So he's going to get caught up by these leaders as well, and it's going to be a fight between Gator trying to be the first car 1 lap down, and also trying to hold that 00 off.
Right now, 137 laps to go. Just want to point that out. I'm on the 00 cars stream because I want to take a look at what his tire percentage is on the right side, because a few laps ago we looked at What If Racing and his was at 50% or around 50%. So I'm very curious to see what the 00 cars tire percentage is at this time in this run.
You gotta be thinking about too what what is Winbow thinking at this point. He's thinking, oh, okay, I've about ready got to be, I've almost got this entire field one lap down, and I mean, I don't think we don't have to say how much of the advantage of that is, because even if a caution does come out, if you have the entire field one lap down, even if a caution were to come out and that guy in second gets a free pass, he still has to restart in the back of the entire field behind the other lap cars. So with that being said, it gives you a little bit of like extra potential strategy to do.
Yeah, someone sudden comes, then delivers. I mean, Winval, he's just chilling. I mean, he's just relaxing.
Something I do want to stress though is these guys that are trying to make it a two-step strategy, we don't know entirely.
Yeah.
Because that puts it outside of the. Gator loose. He's going to go a lap down right here.
And that is going to cost Raw Gator a shot at staying on the lead lap. And now it's down to just 2 drivers on the lead lap.
But he has to stay with them, though. Just because he's lapped down, he can't quit right now. He sees that 8 car of Joey Stone. He's about ready to get lapped as well. And once Joey gets lapped, it's going to be a fight between him and Gator to be the first car 1 lap down.
Look at the 25 car, Darren Gilliam. He's trying to get by the 8 car. If the 25 car gets by the 8 car, that is going to hurt Joey Stone tremendously.
Oh, absolutely. And that 25 car, he has fresher tires right now.
The 28 car nearly cut him off.
Yeah, this is going to back everything up right now. I would not want to be a sloppy Joe right now. You have the 28 car slowing up. You have Gator out his bumper, and here comes that 0-0.
The 8 car just hit the wall through right, entering 1. Joey Stone goes way up the ratio, trying to get a run off the corner, trying to stay on the lead lap, and also...
That was close, though. He's going to drive it in hard right here.
You also have to think of the 85 car.
Here comes the 0-0.
Here comes the 0-0 car, but a contact as Joey Stone hits the wall. The 8 car trying to stay on the lead lap. I don't know if he can hold him up from...
And while they're doing this, here comes the 85 as well. Oh, Joey's going to try a little bit of a crossover here. How hard does he dive it in here?
He's going to dive it in really hard, trying to get something underneath. The 0-0 car is not going to work.
Just to have it. Then here comes Gator. He got a little bit of a run off the corner. Gator's going to take second.
Oh, the 59 car.
That was almost bad right now, but thankfully they had just a bit of room, and Gator's got to hurry up and get around the 8 car. The longer they stay side by side, the longer that gets that 0-0 away. And even though if the 85 can get around that 0-0 even though it may not be for position, he can at least get his lap back the easy way. And if a caution were to come out, he wouldn't have to work hard to drive through the field.
Right now, this is a really good battle for the second spot. And the 85 car is able to get by the 8 car for second spot. Well, I don't know if this has happened in the history of the Core League, but on a green flag run, when really no pit stops are taking place, a driver has put every single car 1 lap down. Wow.
I mean, pure dominance right now, and we saw the same thing at Richmond, where there were only 3 cars on the lead lap to that point before that point where we actually did have a caution come out. So even though it looked like Winval was going to run away at that race, something happened then, so we could have something happen here in a bit. And the other thing, too, we were talking about, and we had something happen, but these guys who are on the 2-stop strategy, I personally think it's going to be really close, because I thought earlier the pit window was going to be about 70, 75 laps. When those guys came out in pit, it was about 160 laps to go. And that was after about 75, 80 laps from the last pit stop, and the guys were about to run out of fuel. So at this point, if I was Gator right now, I would say, okay, Kasi obviously has a faster car right now. I would almost take that gamble to save a little bit extra, but not save too much, where if Kasi were to take an extra pit stop, that he would still be the leader. I mean, you lose about 2 laps here pitting under green. So as long as as Gator doesn't drop off too much, I would save a little bit of fuel right now, because in my opinion, the only guys that can make it on one more stop is Winval, Raw Gator, and even though he is about to go 2 laps down, drive-through right there in the 5th spot.
All right, now at this time, when you are in a race as dominating as this, as a driver, I mean, what is your mindset? Because now you're going to have to do everything the complete opposite in order to try and get some form of advantage on the 00 car. What are you looking for as a driver when you see a race dominated like how Costa Jr. has dominated so far tonight?
Well, first of all, I just want to beat myself. You got to keep in mind too that there's other cars out there for position other than just a race leader. So you want to think about what their strategy is as well. Like, it's important not to be so focused on the race leader. Yes, he has you a lap down, but he has all the other cars a lap down, and a little mistake right there by the 00 that we saw could open the door for some opportunities. And 77 drives through, he gets up, but so that's as far as all these other guys what they would do. But if I was that 00, I'd don't be yourself stupid. I mean, you have a 1 second, you have a 1 lap lead.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just keep doing what you're doing then. Don't try to be like, oh, okay, now that I have this 1 lap lead, I can maybe do this different strategy or that. Just keep doing what you're doing. But with him having a lap lead, I would take that opportunity still, maybe back up the corners a little bit without ruining your rhythm. This track is such a rhythm track as far as your braking zones and when you get back in the gas. And literally, when I'm watching this 00 car, it looks like almost an AI car that is just running the same line every single lap here. And he is just flawless and consistent.
And I mean, right now, he has an estimated fuel for around 31 laps. And his right sides, which are going to be the key ones we're going to be looking at, 58%. Now, to give you an idea, we're going to look at another driver's stream just to see at what their right sides are. Joey Stone, 3rd place. His right sides, 17%.
Wow. And well, here's the thing too. He pitted a lot. He pitted about 10, 15 laps earlier than these guys. But
yeah, that's true. That's true.
The rate of his fall off though is a little bit quicker than those guys. And I gotta think about you. How hard is he pushing to stay on a lead lap at least, and how hard is he pushing trying to keep up with Gators that first car 1 lap down? So I think it's safe to say. Well, actually no, it isn't safe to say because we got to see how far that 85 and that 00 can go on green. Can go on field.
Yeah, I mean, really, at this rate, a caution, you're going to need multiple cautions in order for anyone to have a shot at the 00 car, at least trying to take the race lead away from him at this rate.
Mm-hmm. So, looking at the race leader right now, we got 112 laps to go, and it says that he has 28 laps of fuel left. With that being said, it would be about, just doing some quick math here, about maybe 85 laps to go. That's going to be pushing it. I mean, I feel it'd be a little bit more comfortable. You would need to pit at the latest, or at the earliest, 80 laps to go to try to make it outfield. But
so
85 to go, that may be stretching it.
So would you think that, because should he save fuel right now so that he doesn't have to worry about, hey, when I come onto pit road next time by?
I think he should. He's got a lap buffer right now.
Yeah.
I mean, so you built up this much of a lead. I mean, maybe take advantage of it without messing up your rhythm too much. But just looking at him, it looks like he's doing a really good job. Like, let's just ride on board with him for a little bit. He got to about 125 miles per hour, and he's getting on the brakes almost immediately. And it looks like he's either hard on the brakes or hard on the throttle. So there's not really much coasting, it looks like. So I think he needs to be doing a little bit more rolling of the throttle instead of getting hard on the brake right now.
The way the 00 car is running, it reminds me a lot of how Kevin Harvick in the Cup Series would run at Atlanta, where he would go into the throttle or ease into turn 1 and turn 3 very slowly, so that he doesn't use up his tires as much. So that, let's say on a late green flag run, his tires are much more preserved rather than his other competitors.
Yeah, and even though he is getting on the brakes, he isn't jamming on that brake. Like he doesn't just we've seen a lot of these guys like they're just mashing that brake pedal when they're getting into turns 1 and the turns 3. But he's just really gently getting in there, and just gonna try to keep track of him right now. Says he has 22 laps to go on fuel. They get 21 right to stripe and 105, so that would put him about 84 laps to go is when he may be coming down pit road. And if he can stay a little bit more and get to 80 to go, I'm not sure. It's going to be close.
So the 22 car, Brendan Littell, he just left pit road. We saw the 22, I should say, the 82 car, Joseph Lombard, was also on pit road, as well as the 20.
Pit road as well.
Yeah, and the 38 car. Here he is.
Yeah, I think about too. What's Gator going to do? Because I think with him only, even though he is a lap down, I think he's still the only person that's in. I think he was the only person that's in somewhat contention to beat drive-through, or not drive-through, but Winbow. And simply on the fact if Winbow at this point, if Winbow doesn't win this race, he's going to be beating himself because he has a large lead up to this point, and he can use that to his advantage to try to save some fuel. And I think, like, looking at his monitor a little bit, he has saved about another half of a lap in the past couple laps here. So I think he's on pace right now to possibly make this one to the end just barely.
You say if he loses this race, he would only beat himself, but you never know. We could see another version of Homestead where one caution just sets up basically hell. All hell would break loose if a caution were to come out, and we could see potentially not even Winval or the 85 car Raw Gator have a shot. Winning this thing, whoa, contact, in the one car in the pit barriers.
Oh, well, one car, he's still going right now in the 00. He was all over the place. One car, he's lagging quite a bit. Something's going on with him right now.
Yeah, he is lagging big time coming on the pit road. I thought at first...
That was right in front of our leader, too. So
yeah.
That was a bit of a little pucker moment from Winbound right there. But...
I thought at first when he hit the wall, we actually might get a caution at first.
Yep.
But nope, everything is still going Winval's way. He wants it to remain green probably the whole way. Do you see the one car Winval?
Side note I want to mention, it looks like the 82 of Joseph Lombard, he has lagged out of this race. He's been on pit road for about the past 3 or 4 minutes here, at least what we've noticed, and looks like he's going to finish last here tonight.
Man, tough break for the kid out of California.
Yeah, it'll be definitely they're going to take a big hit in the points for sure, as he was sitting 3rd place in points, and that's definitely going to drop after tonight.
Yeah, he was running on a really good season so far. And unfortunately, it looks like that good streak will come to an end here tonight.
Trying to look back in the fields here to see if we have any battles going on for position. We have like a lot of a decent amount of guys that are just multiple laps down right now at this point. Like,
yeah,
these guys overusing their right fronts a bit. Well, so I think just with we're kind of uncertain of where everyone's running, but I am certain of one thing, and I don't think we've done our very favorite segment of the race so far tonight.
Yes.
We should change that.
Yes. Well, Jennifer Ball said, "Surprised no one chatted for 4 minutes." So I guess there's a lot of emptiness going on between communications. So why not?
So with that, we need to get something cranked up right here. So I think it's time for a little hardcore.
I think let's do that. All right. So enjoy some short track racing under the light style, Martinsville racing of core hardcore. Well, it looked like at first maybe the 85 car was about to catch up to the 00 car, Michael Kosky Jr., but he makes his way onto pit road.
Yeah, and you got to look at it. It's about 84, 85 laps to go for him at this point. That is going to be really, really close. I think he's got to do a little bit of extra saving here if he wants to try to get to the end of this thing. And at his point, because obviously the 00 is going to have more fuel than him, he just needs to go into extra fuel conservation mode at this point.
Okay, so we're just getting word on on why Joseph Lombard is not in this race. He did disconnect, but this is what's going on. He says that he accidentally disconnected because he was pissed off for not understanding why his right front tire was wearing out so dramatically when he wasn't even pushing that hard. He literally had to pit when this is his quote, literally had to pit when I have like 35 laps left on fuel. Also, the game paused because I decided to leave a PS party and press the disconnect button. So stupid to have two options on a pause menu and don't even have a "Are you sure you want to quit?" screen. So dumb.
So I suppose right now we got the 00 Winval on pit road for the final time. And he's got to make it 82 laps.
Wow.
Tank of fuel.
Yeah,
he's real quick though. Something to mention that the 82 car, even though he came a few laps earlier, he has unlapped himself.
The 80? You mean the 85?
Yep, 85. Yep, sorry.
Yeah, he has unlocked this. I'm not sure though if he's back on the lead lap though.
I think he may, because he was only one lap down and he was only about 3 seconds, 2 or 3 seconds behind the 00 up to that point.
Yeah, he
shortly here once Winval pulls out of the pits right here.
Yeah, right now he just unlapped himself because the 00 car is still the race leader. So it looks like the 85 car just unlapped himself.
Oh, actually here, that may be wrong.
Oh, so?
That may be wrong, because I'm looking on Winval's mini map, and right now it says the icon that it has for the second place car is about a straightaway behind him.
Oh my goodness! Wait, oh my God! So right now, it looks like after pit stops, guys. After pit stops, only 2 drivers remain on the lead lap: Winval and Rawgator. And Rawgator.
Oh well, this car actually there's a car on pit road right now. Well, that's drive-through. Drive-through. He may be second right now, and so yeah, he is the last guy.
He's fifth.
Pit.
Fifth place, 2 laps down right now.
Yep. So we were not done with pit cycles yet, but yep. So Rawgator, he is back in second, just barely in front of that 00 car.
I have never. I mean, this is coming after pit stops, and he's already 1 car away, and maybe about a second behind from lapping the whole field again.
Well, here's the thing, though. Like Gator, he's been able to keep pace practically with that 00, and you've got to imagine how much he's kicking himself right now. Like, even though he had that pit penalty, he's still sitting in second, but that's really cost him a really bad opportunity for this win.
So right now we have 75 laps remaining, and right now Michael Kosky Jr. is about 9 laps short on fuel.
I think that's attainable, but it's gonna you really got to change your driving style. We saw that he saved about half a lap in 2 or 3 laps. So if he could save half a lap in 3 laps, that would mean a full lap would take 6, and that's going to be really close, Jet. I don't know if he can. I think he could. I think he could possibly. But I'm just not sure.
Yeah, and if so, it's probably going to be down to the wire. We saw the 59 car. Apparently, he got loose again and hit the inside wall. This time by, we have 72 laps to go here at Martinsville. Pit stops are done, but I don't know. Uncertainty on fuel. Michael Costa Jr. He doesn't have enough fuel to make it to the end unless he starts saving fuel.
Well, yeah, he'll definitely have to save fuel here, but can he save enough? I mean, I feel like saving 5 laps can be done, but 10 laps, that's going to be really close.
Yeah, right. Yeah, more specific, 8 laps short. So, yeah, that's.
Well, and here's something I want to mention too. Right now, I think the only guy that can make it on fuel right now is Drive-Thru. However, he is 2 laps down. Actually, about 2.5 laps down right now. And even though he may be able to make it on fuel, I just don't think that even if Winbow and Gator came down the pit, that he would be able to. I think he could catch Gator, but I don't think he'd be able to get past Winbow.
Do you think the 00 car's motto is to maybe go as hard as he can to maybe try and lap the whole field twice, so that, let's say, if he does run out of fuel, makes it on pit road, he can still have the race lead?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You gotta think big picture here, because the only guy that is in position to get this win if Kasi runs out of fuel is Gator. But with that being said, Gator, he pitted about 2 laps earlier than Winbow. So Gator's got to decide what he wants to do too, and if anything, we're seeing that gap between Gator and Kasi open a little bit. Gator's been able to drive away from Winbow a bit, so you got to think maybe his strategy is just to go hard, and because maybe he thinks that he can't save fuel. So, and honestly, I think with how early he pitted with 86 laps to go, and I just don't know if that could be done. So with that being said, I think he's got to push hard right now, and hoping that Kasi runs out of fuel, and that if he has to come down and take fuel himself, that Kasi running it as hard as he has to will use up his tire, or Kasi, just trying to save fuel. That if he has to come down and take a little splash, Gator has to come down and take a little splash, maybe Kasi will make a little bit of a mistake.
Right now, around 6 laps short on fuel for the 00 car. That's what I guess we could say an educated guess. But yeah, you said it earlier. It is going to be very, very close, and to see if Costa Jr. can make it or not to the end.
Well, since everything's really spread out right now, let's take a little bit of this quick opportunity right now to go through the field. Right now, sitting in first place. He did this the last time he competed. Winbow, he absolutely dominated at Richmond, and so far is once again putting on another short track clinic, and he has about a 16-second race lead over Raw Gator.
Yeah, absolute domination. Meanwhile, as we can get our camera over to the 85 car, Raw Gator, Trey Normal. These seasons so far has not gone his way. He did get a top 5 finish at Homestead, but last week at Canadian Tire, unfortunately disconnected. However, even though he's running second place, nearly a lap down, nice one for him as he nearly made contact with the 25 car, Darren Gilliam, who bounced off the wall. A solid effort for the 85 car out of Arizona. Around 11th or 12th place, I believe, in the point standing. So, even though he might not win today, he's going to get a huge points-paying gain in the standings on his way to the championship.
Back in third place, Sloppy Joe. He is a lap behind and an extra straightaway behind 00 of our race leader in 00. But how about this? Joey Stone graduating from college. He is wearing his cap and gown tonight in his live stream. May not end up with the win tonight, but ended up graduating a few days ago from college and having another good run tonight. I'm sure that he would want to win here, but another great win, great run so far tonight for Sloppy Joe.
I believe 4th place is a 77 car drive-thru, if I'm not mistaken.
It may be What If Racing.
Oh yeah, it is What If Racing. So let's get over to him. What If Racing.
He just went 2 laps down, I believe.
Wow. Oh man. Well, the one car, What If Racing. Even though he has not won a race so far this season, a quiet but solid day for the one car. Gear Wrench Chevrolet currently in 4th place. Just looks like he's trying to go for a more consistent route, just racking up top 5s, top 10s, trying to, as we said time and time again so far this season, trying to get redemption after losing the championship by 1 point to Dale Reynolds on the 27 car so far. Nice run for the one car, currently in 4th place.
Then back in 5th, we have Drive-Thru. Coming off of a 2-race winning streak. He's sitting 2 laps down right now. But so far, a decent run. I'm sure he's probably wishing that he could be doing a little bit better here. But right now, out of all the guys who have pitted, he is the best guy to come down pit road. He's the best guy that can make it to the end of the field right now. But the problem is with him being 2 laps down to the leader right now, he may not be able to take advantage of that. And as we see, Sloppy Joe, he is down pit road.
Yes, it looks like he's trying to maybe short pit to make it to the end.
Well, I think he's one of the guys that he doesn't think he's in position to make it to the end of the field. And I don't think he was, because he pitted a little bit earlier. So in his case, I think with him, he was only about a lap and a quarter down to the leader. He could possibly. He's not out of this thing yet. If these guys push it, and if they run out of fuel, and they have to pit as well, he could possibly, come away with this.
Possibly. He just got lapped by the 00 car, Michael Costi Jr. And let's take a look now at what's his situation right now on in terms of fuel. All right, right now, 47 laps remaining on his fuel run.
Let's go back to the pack a little bit again. Talk about him a little bit. What a run right now for Jake Bassinger. He is sitting comfortably in the 6th position. Doesn't really have anyone around him at this point, but what a night and day difference that Bassinger has run right now. He was absolutely terrible these first four races of the season, and he's probably. We saw how excited he got at Radioactive just by getting back on the lead lap at Homestead.
Yeah.
And so you got to imagine, if he can pull this thing out with a 6th or 7th place finish, he's going to be really happy tonight.
Oh! Is that caution? Oh, caution! The 28 car. Oh my goodness.
Oh no! One guy. Definitely that hurts Sloppy Joe. He is.
Oh no!
Laps down right now. He's gonna get a wave around. Oh, wow.
The 28 car got loose and spun right in front of the 22 car and collected the 00 car.
This changes everything.
Wow. Well, we get to see now, because remember, everyone except Rawgator was 2 laps down. So, I mean, I don't know. We know Jake Baskinger in 6th place, Brendan Littell 7th, and Darren Gilliam in 8th.
And everyone else is 2 laps. Everyone else right now is 2 laps down or greater. So still, there are only 2 cars on the lead lap right now.
Yeah.
Winval and Gator.
Wait, and he's on the lead lap, right?
Yep, he was on the lead lap.
Wow. So it's now down to 2 drivers. Winval and Trey Normile. I mean, Normile, he's going to have to get the restart of his life. Right now, it's not going his way.
He stayed in line right there right now, and I think,
Well, look at this 4 wide. Ooh.
Oh, that's not going to work.
Wow.
Car in the wall.
Bit of more contact.
Right here.
And Joey Stone, wow, what if racing? And he spins! Right in front of Rusty Walrus.
Well.
Caution is not out. Meanwhile, back up front, Troy Normile, he is all over the back bumper of the 00 car. He's going to have to move him, I feel like. And look at how he's trying to use that bumper, that light blue Ford.
Well, here's the thing. If he moves some, he wants to make sure that that 00 doesn't get back to him as well.
At this rate,
43 laps to go right now, coming to 42, and you know, the 85 car, he didn't have the best long run car, but I still think this run is short enough where these two are going to be able to go at it here.
remember, the 85 car, he was able to maintain pace. Now, this could vary because, you know, the W car might have been saving fuel or not going full 100%, but he was able to maintain pace with the race leader.
Yeah, the only guy I feel like who's been able to maintain pace with Winval. The problem is he had that penalty after that first green flag pit stop, but how hard he's been able to drive, he was able to stay on the very tail end of that lead lap right before that caution came out, and he is the only lead lap car right now, other than Winval. That being said, he's the only guy that's be able to challenge for the lead right here.
As you can see, that 00 car, it looks like he's opening that gap. I don't know if I'm wrong, Gator. You might have to go full throttle and move him.
Well, I would still be patient right here because I thought Gator, he had a decent mid-run car. He had a decent mid-run car, and he was able to keep pace a little bit with Winval. But at the same time, too, you know, I would, you know, which is how strong that 00 has been. You know, he's able to keep pace with him right now. You got to be right on his bumper in case something happens to Kasi. That if he slips up, you have to be able to take advantage of that.
But how patient can you be? Because you do not want the 00 car to get out so far so that, let's say, if you do want to use the bumper, you're not going to be able to have a chance to do it. So I understand you want to be patient. You don't want to do it now because he might have a chance to get back at you. But then again, you don't want to wait too long so that we've seen the 00 car get out to a huge lead on the long run. So what lap time or what lap count are you going to push the envelope and go all out?
Well, right now, Kasi himself, he's starting to pull away just a tiny bit. It may not be much, but it's about half a car length, and he's getting really good jumps off these corners. That being said, I know I just talked about being conservative, but he's starting to drive away a little bit. You got to start pushing this issue right now. There's not really, I don't know if you really can mess around at this point because not only that, but, you know, there's no one really behind you. So you can take advantage of being able to push the issue without a lapper or another lead lap car being able to get around you for position.
And there's also no one in front, so it's not like Trey Normal can maybe use a lap car as a pick, even though we do see the 28 car, Cody Hicken, just exiting off of turn 2. 35 laps to go here at Martinsville.
So the thing about, too, is that, you know, we had a mix of strategy with some guys back in the pack. Some guys, we had one up that had the free pass. He's only 1 lap down. Only car that's 1 lap down. But we also had some guys take a wave around to get a couple positions, a lap or so back. So with that being said, these guys are going to be on really worn tires, and these leaders are going to have to navigate that lap traffic.
Man, that 00 car got a great jump off of 2.
Gator's keeping pace, though. He's doing a really good job at that.
He is keeping pace, though, but, I mean, what is keeping pace going to get you?
Yeah, but and Winval, he's just getting great launches off these corners, and it's just so hard to make a pass on a guy if the car in front of you is able to get off the corners well. Gator's doing a really good... Oh, 28 cars.
Oh, 28 spins!
He's going to keep it high, though. I think he's going to wait till he gets ghosted. He's going to get it going here. No caution, it looks like.
No caution is still not out. Cody Hicken still up the racetrack. And we stay green.
Right here, you know, we talked about it too. How terrible of a season this has been for Gator right now. You know, I think he felt like too, you know, when I put out the top 10 earlier, he wasn't on it. And I think, you know, he took that to heart a little bit and like, you know, hey, I am a lot better than a lot of these guys right now. It's just, you know, I just have had the finishes to show for it and just the runs to show for it. Gator has great speed and this is the best position that he has had all season to really show that he's a lot better than where he's ranked at in points.
Right now the gap is around 4 to 5 tenths of a second, so it closed down just 1/10 so far. The 28 car going way up high. Doesn't look like he'll be much of a factor, unlike, let's say, if it was another driver that was a lap car, could it have been used as a pick maybe.
I know we got guys going at it pretty hard right now, but looks like back in the pack right here, got Brennan Littell, the 22 and the 25 of Darian Gillum. I'm not quite sure, that may be for position.
Probably, because everyone else is in a lap down.
Yeah, well, I mean, because we have a mix of people that are like 2 laps down, 3 laps down, and I'm going to change right here just so I can look for sure. And yep, that is for battle for position. That is a battle for 6th at the moment.
Yeah, the 85 car, he is just looking back out in front. The 85 car, he is just getting the drive entering into the corner, but the double Z car is just getting the launch out of the corner. I think that's why you see the gap maintain 5 to 6/10 of a second. One driver's good at getting into it, but one driver's good at getting out to it, so it just cancels out.
And also, just Winbow, we talked like earlier, and he was just really, really consistent about running this consistent line every single lap. And just looking at his screen right now, he is not saying anything. In fact, he hasn't really said anything the majority of the race. Like, usually he's kind of talkative and whatnot, and like, I've been watching, like, he has his face cam up, and he hasn't said a single word except if it's been on pit road. He is dead-eyed focused right now, but Gator, he's matching him lap per lap. Next
driver, they're about to at least next car in line is the 59 car of Rusty Walrus. Roger got big time loose off of 4, and man, that just probably just sealed his fate. 8/10 of a second now. The gap now 1.2.
I wouldn't say it sealed it, but he's gonna need Winbow to make another mistake or two for him to get there. You know, he's got to just regroup here, focus about hitting the line. Also, we don't know what type of role that this lap traffic may play. We have some guys that took wave around, so they're going to be much slower than Winbow and Gator, who both took fresh tires.
When Winbow crosses the line, it will be 22 laps remaining here in the Fender 250 here at Martinsville Speedway. He's got a 1.5 second gap ahead of second place driver.
Back straight away. Littell got loose and sent the 38 car of Jake Bassinger into the inside wall. He got it going again, but that was a hard hit.
Everything keeps on going, though. No caution.
And if you're probably what if right now, what if being the only car one lap down, he's probably like, caution, caution.
I'm pretty sure everyone is praying for a caution except the 00 car.
Right now, a quick battle for 4th right now happening. Drive-through. A little bit of a replay from last week's battle at Canadian Tire. Drive-through sitting in 4th, and Sloppy Joe in 5th. Both of these guys are 2 laps down at this point.
Right now, top 5 goes as Michael Kossi Jr. Second place is Trey Normal. 3rd is Brian Pattersonek. 4th is drive-through. And 5th, 5th is Joey Sonez. The 77 guard just smacked the outside wall off of 4. That's allowed the 8 car to get a good run underneath him entering turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, and going back up front though, Winbow, he started to pull away. I think Gator used up his stuff. Just trying to keep up with Winbow there. He's getting really loose off of these corners, and I think he's using up that right front tire a bit, just really driving into those corners, and the Winbow is just starting to pull away.
Looking back, do you feel like he should have used his bumper a lot earlier?
Well, I mean, he was driving it hard in there, so I think, you know, if he wanted to use the bumper, he wasn't able to. And, you know, you got to think big picture, too. You know, Gator, he is really respectable. He really wants to race guys clean, and, you know, he doesn't want to resort to stuff like that. But, you know, of course, I feel like a lot of people do that late in the race. But maybe, like, in his mind, maybe just 50 laps to go was too early for it.
Right now, the 00 car going underneath the 88 car, Jarrett Lomberg. I believe that is for the 7th or 8th spot, if I'm not mistaken. As he crosses,
I believe the 88 and the 38 are doing a battle for 8th right now.
14.5 laps to go here at the paperclip. Mike Kossi Jr., I mean, he's led probably all but 5 or 6 laps so far in this race. Has clearly clinched the most laps led here tonight. So he's going to get another bonus point, which...
Well, it was kind of... It's basically been the same story as Richmond, where he started about fifth place or so, and took him about 30 laps or so to get through the top 3, top 4, but once he took that lead, it has been all him.
Yeah, and this should be I guess you could say, as a way to help the 00 car's chances now, because remember, he did not race the past 2 races. He didn't race Canadian Tire, and he did not race Homestead, so he lost a lot of ground in the championship. And surely, if everything goes well for him tonight and he wins this race, I mean, he's going to get all the points. He's going to win the race, lead a lap, lead the most laps. He's going to sure gain some ground on the championship leader drive-through.
Yeah, looking back at Gator right now, this lap traffic is not doing Gator any favors right now. Bassinger really held up that third. Jake Bassinger really held up Gator about 2 laps ago, and then the 88 car was a little bit slow getting through turns 1 and 2. And I think unless we get a caution or Kossi makes a really big mistake here, he's going to get this one.
As he comes off of turn 4, 10 laps to go.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we can stress enough, how big of a deal that it was for Winval to get that great restart. And honestly, I think that's our move of the race right there, that final restart of Winval being able to have a great restart. Didn't let that 85 car of Raw Gator cut underneath them, and him getting that lead off of that restart, I think is what was his move of the race.
Meanwhile, back for the battle for 4th place, just heated up big time. The 8 and the 77 car, that was the battle for the lead last weekend at Canadian Tire. They went side by side entering 3, and the 88 car, don't know if it was intentional, but just shot up the racetrack. Oh, spins! He saves it though, but wow.
That was almost big right there.
Yeah, that could have been big. Everything's fine though. Like I was saying earlier, they were battling side by side for position, but it looks like the 8 car maybe just washed up or purposely just ran into the side of the 77 car and smacked him and put him in the wall. Meanwhile, back. Oh, the 1 car! The 1 car, what if racing spins right in front of the 00 car? We're still green, and I believe that was just a glitch because the 1 car is back up racing again.
Yeah, I think we're good right now. That may have just been a glitch. I think we're good.
Yeah, that was weird for a second.
Oh, we got Rusty Walrus a little bit slow coming off turn 2 right here. I know he got pretty loose a couple laps ago. Almost spun the car on the exit of turn 4.
As he comes off of turn number 4, Winval, Michael Kossi Jr. is 3.5 laps away from scoring his 2nd career Core League victory of the season. As we all know, he won his first race of the season back in race number 2 of the season at Richmond, where kind of very similar to this one, absolute domination until a quick restart came, or until a caution came out late in the run that caused the WC car to have some form of battle, but ultimately he was able to prevail and get away from the rest of the pack.
So far, it sucks that he missed the last 2 races, because so far he had a strong car at Daytona. He won at Richmond, and he's about ready to win here, as well as an earlier win this year in the shootout.
Absolutely. As he makes his way off of turn number 4, white flag in the air, 1 lap to go for Michael Kossi Jr. here at Martinsville, presented by Black Flags Matter. He entered the season starting off with a good run at Daytona, or getting up in an accident, then won the race at Richmond, and then had a 2-race delay. Was not there for Homestead or Canadian Tire, but he comes back in victory-style domination. Michael Kossi Jr. wins at Martinsville. As what in the world is What If Racing doing?
He's having great problems right now, but
yeah.
And then Gator comes home 2nd. I know we didn't get a win, but what a rebound for Gator with the season he's had. Looks like What If is going to come home. I think he's going to come home in 3rd. Sloppy in 4th. Drive through 5th.
And his win was fueled by an unloaded Cube 88. Fourth is Joey Stone. Fifth is Drive Through. Sixth is Darren Gilliam. Seventh, Jake Baskinger. Nice one for him. Eighth is Brendan Littell. Ninth is Jarrett Lundberg. And rounding out the top 10 is Rusty Walrus. Alrighty, so, I mean, wow. Congratulations to Winval. For some reason, I like to call him What If Racing. I don't know why, but yeah.
I'll be generous. You know, we saw What If get a little bit hectic out there.
Yes.
At the end, like just from like the standpoint of internet, but stream of a wave of congratulations coming through for Winval right now. You know, it's a shame that he missed these last 2 races because I think he would definitely have the points lead right now had he been able to come here the last 2 races. But you know, hey, this makes up great for the time that he was off here, and this win bumps up the points a little bit. Was able to gain some ground on drive-through, considering that he had a 5th place finish, it looks like, and yeah, and he got as a max points day for Winval. That's what he needs to be able to get back into this championship conversation.
Absolutely. Didn't deliver, says Rick Allen moment. Yes, I did. My apologies there. I saw What If Racing wreck, and my instantly thought was, What If Racing crashed? But then I see, oh yeah, I forgot. Winval, he's already trying to win the race. So yeah, apologies for that little mix up there. But yeah, other than that, do you have any other thoughts about this race tonight?
Yeah. Once again, looks like the dominant car won the race tonight, and I know it may have been a little bit of a snooze fest during the middle of the race there, but at the end, it was nice to see that even though Gator had that pit penalty that put him in jeopardy on the tail end of the lead lap for the majority of that race, and even a lap down at sometimes, we were able to see probably the 2 best cars tonight battle it out for the win there at the end, and evidently the strongest car won.
Absolutely. Well, next weekend, things should be a lot more exciting. The Core League heads to Kansas Speedway, at a track at this game, which, if you guys watched the Carnation Cup, had a thrilling finish, and we should expect nothing less here in the Core League. Unfortunately, though, Workman, I don't believe you're going to be on for next week.
I will not be there, and it's a shame because it is my sponsored race. It is my polka party in the Heartland at Kansas. But you know, I'm going to I'll still be do pre-race stuff with you guys. I'll still be present there. Won't be in the booth. I'm going to take my time and enjoy my time here in Florida on vacation. But yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm going to try to sit in the chat with some of you guys next week and be able to just watch this. I mean, we watch this as a fan, but we get to commentate it. But you know, I'll get to be able to roll around, comment on some streams and stuff, and but yeah, that'll be fun to watch, and probably one of the most competitive races of the season will be this Sunday.
Absolutely. Again, yeah, there's another thing we should point out. The Core League, not next Thursday. You don't have to wait a full week. You don't have to wait just a few days. Next Sunday, I believe, at the same time at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Core League Racing from Kansas. It should be a fun one there. Well, thank you again so much for contributing to this, Cody. Good luck on your vacation. Have a good time. And for Cody Workman, I'm Jake Ross. Thank you so much for watching On MDK's coverage of the Fender Bender 250 presented by SmokeCarbon13. Congratulations to Winval8820, also known as Michael Cosi Jr., your winner here at Martinsville.